Derby County looks set to be missing out on the signing of Scottish international fullback Max Johnston, as a range of different EFL clubs and Serie A clubs are joining the transfer party. Now, it was reported just a few days ago that Derby County were preparing a third bid for that of 21-year-old Max Johnston, but that bid is yet to come forward, and that bid certainly has not been accepted as of yet. Now, obviously, for Derby County, is the right back a position, a priority position for me? Absolutely not. But is it a position where Derby County could have done with a little bit extra strength in depth? I certainly do believe so. And unfortunately, that will not be coming in the form of Scottish international Max Johnston as of right now. The likes of Sheffield United, Hellas Verona and Bologna all watched the international at the weekend, in which he scored a goal and was an instrumental part in a 3-1 victory for Sturm Graz. Now, this is very, very interesting. It's something we're going to get into across the course of this video. But if we have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Make sure you check out all the links down in the description. Kitbag for your sporting goods, NordVPN for your VPNs, and CD keys for any gaming goods. They are all now partners of the channel, so make sure you check them out down in the description to help yourselves, help me with yourselves. So let's get into the video. Join me live from 6 p.m. daily so that we can talk all the latest Derby County news. We are also going to be getting involved in sort of the gaming aspect as well, with games like NBA 2K26 about to drop, the brand new FC. We're going to be looking at games like Football Manager as well, but you can let me know some suggestions down in the comments. We will be live from today and in the future from 6 p.m. each day for at minimum an hour to see how this all transpires. I've really enjoyed the live streams we've done recently, so thank you all for coming along. Let me know your thoughts on the more consistent live streams down in the comments, but let's get back to the video. Now, obviously for Derby County, they've shown a big interest in Max Johnston across the course of the last few weeks. You obviously go back to when Derby County were trying to sign Callum Britton, and that deal obviously fell through as he moved to Middlesbrough. We then sort of moved on to Max Johnston, where it seems as if a deal within the £2 million region would have got him to Pride Park Stadium, but now it seems as if Derby County aren't going to get that deal done for whatever reason. Now, that has opened up the door for the likes of Sheffield United, the likes of Hellas Verona, the likes of Bologna to be able to come in and give themselves the opportunity to bring this player in for pretty much nothing. I don't think that 2 million is a big fee in terms of football these days. I think it's a very, very good fee. I think it's a very, very strategic move, and a player who, in my opinion, is going to potentially be worth 10 times that in the next 3 or 4 years, especially if he can get whatever team he joins to their top division and continues to be performing, because he's quite clearly a very, very good player. That's why he's played internationally for Scotland, and it's why he's got the interest that he's got and why he's played in the Champions League. Now, obviously, for Max Johnston, he's still got a massive career ahead of him at just 21 years old. Scored a really good goal at the weekend, which is obviously important for him as he continues that development in that right back position. But for me, do I think this is a bad thing for Derby? Necessarily no. Obviously, we found out yesterday that Kane Wilson was back training within the group. There had been a few pictures posted of Kane Wilson on social media before that with him training at Moor Farm, but we was never really sure if he was with the group or doing his own sort of rehab work. And obviously yesterday during the open training session, he was with the group, which is obviously very, very good for Derby County moving forward, as we sort of hope to get him back before the international break if we can. Obviously the intention is that we don't rush those players back, but I think with having Kane Wilson back, Ryan Niambi back, I think Joe Ward's been really good since his return from injury. Do we really need Max Johnston? I don't particularly think so. You look at Dion Sanderson, who can play at right back, Sondre Langas, Curtis Nelson, Jake Rooney, all who can slot in at right back if needs be. So it's one of those for me where as much of the signing of Max Johnston would have been really, really nice for Derby County, I don't necessarily believe it's one that Derby County sort of had to prioritise and had to get done, especially when you look at some of the other moves that we're discussing in the likes of Kyoki Soto. You've obviously got Lewis Travis as well, which is potentially ongoing, and there has been a rumour surrounding Chelsea midfielder Alex Matos, which has come out in the course of the last 24 hours, which is obviously a very, very interesting one, and one which we'll discuss later on today. But for me, as much as I like Max Johnston, as much as I think he'd be an excellent addition for Derby County, I just don't think it's the move that Derby County need right now. I think we need to prioritise other areas. In my opinion, the winger positions should be the priority. If come the end of the transfer window, we've still got some budget left and Max Johnston still hasn't moved, then absolutely we should put another bid in and see if we can get it done. But for me, it's not one of those that I think changes the world if we get him or we don't, in my personal opinion. Now, it is going to be interesting to see where he does end up. Obviously, I do think it will be one that Derby will regret should he end up going for £2 million. But it's one of those where, as much as Derby may regret it, if we keep Kane Wilson, and Kane Wilson, in my opinion, is one of the best right backs in the division, I think that Derby County won't be too stressed about it, if I am completely honest. Now, there's obviously a lot of work that can go with these transfers, and a lot of issues that can come up as well. Obviously, yes, he's been playing for Sturm Graz, but Patrick Agyemang had been playing for the USA in the Gold Cup. He needed surgery. Langas and Selverson came in and picked up injuries early doors because of them not having a proper pre-season. So there's always circumstances which can cause problems on a transfer. Now, do I believe that Max Johnston is going to go on to be a very good player and potentially play in the Premier League? I certainly do. I think the fact he's played in the Champions League already speaks volumes about his ability and where he's going to end up in his career. But I think for the time being, I think Derby County are going to be looking at different positions and different players, because I just don't think that right back position is a priority for John Eustace right now, especially with the introduction of Dion Sanderson. Now, obviously, as we head in towards Friday's game up against Bristol City, this is a big transfer for me, and I think a lot of the moves that we're talking about recently, Kyoki Soto, Lewis Travis, are huge moves in that regard of where Derby County can get to before this international break. Obviously, currently don't have a left winger unless we bring one up from the academy, and in complete honesty, I think our midfield is lacking a bit of quality in there, and that's why we're looking at Lewis Travis. Now, the interesting part of that is going to all be around the discussion regarding who stays and who goes, which obviously will be decided by John Eustace over the coming weeks, and that will decide which players arrive as well, in my opinion, because of the registration slots that Derby County have. I believe there's only one available, potentially even less than that, given the fact that Derby County have those have three goalkeepers as well. I'm not quite sure if they link to the registration rules. So as much as Derby County may want to get a Max Johnston deal done in a couple of weeks, it might not be one they're able to do with the registration situation. There was obviously a few talks in regards to Joe Ward, moving out of the club, but considering his performance versus West Brom, considering I think he was fairly decent when he came off the bench the other day as well. It's one of those where you don't really know where it's going to end up for me, and there's obviously a lot of work for Derby County to do in order to secure their future both on and off the pitch. And the most interesting thing for me that Derby County needs to do this window is bring in a midfielder and bring in at least one winger. For me, I'd like two, if I'm completely honest. I'd like two more on the left, because Corey Blackett-Taylor is very much a 50-50 call. You don't know if he's going to be able to stay fit or not, so it puts you in a bit of a difficult spot, in my opinion. So we are going to have to wait and see sort of how that progresses over the course of the next few weeks. But if you was John Eustace, if you was in his position, what would you do? Would you go out and pick up Max Johnston for the rumoured £2 million fee for £18,000 a week of wages? or would you hold on to what you've got, try and give Kane Wilson a new deal, and then bring in the likes of Lewis Travis and Kyoki Soto? Now, you can let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. And if you have not done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Check out all the channel partners down in the comments. We're obviously now affiliated with CD Keys, Kitbag, and NordVPN. So make sure you head on down there and get that sorted. But I'll catch you in the next video.